A wise woman once said, "How hard could it be? Boys do it." I want to build a custom cutie little cart like this for my coffee shop themed Galentine's party, so that's what I'm gonna do. Do I know how to do it? No. But I'll figure it out. After watching a couple of YouTube videos and reading a few blog posts, I decided to get a piece of this 4x8 plywood and get it cut for me at Home Depot. For my DIY girlies out there, do not be afraid to ask them to get the wood down for you and cut it for you. They cut it to the exact pieces that I needed for my build. The fun part about making stuff yourself is you can design and redesign it as you go along. I came across these fun little spindles and decided that these might be cute to add. $76 later, I thought I had all the materials that I needed. Spoiler alert, I didn't, but we'll come back to that. And here you can kind of see the general concept. So step one is to attach the sides to the front using these 4 hinges that I got. This is so that the whole structure will be collapsible for storage, but it's also kind of just easier to attach it this way. And since I'm working alone, I used some painter's tape, a gallon of paint, and these nifty little corner holder thingies to hold everything in place. These hinges came with screws included, but they were too long for these thin pieces of plywood, so I'm using some short little baby screws. Notice how I put the side pieces overlapping on top of the front face piece. This is important for the way that it opens and closes. This is one of those things where if you do it wrong, you'll quickly realize that it's wrong, and then you'll just take it apart and redo it the right way. That's honestly the best way to learn this type of stuff. Next, I got these little trim pieces from the trim and molding section of Home Depot, and I'm just gonna put a decorative little border on the front. I do have this nice Ryobi saw that helps me cut perfect 45-degree angles, but you don't need a tool this big to do these types of cuts. You can actually do it with a handsaw, but I just recommend doing the 45-degree angles because it gives it a way more professional look. I glued these pieces down with some wood glue and weighted them down with some more gallons of paint. That way it would dry completely flat. Now moving on to the tabletop, I had my plywood cut into basically 4 pieces. I already used 3 of the pieces on the base, but the last 4th piece is going to be the top, and I'm using these pre-primed pieces of 1x2s, I think they are, to create a frame around it. Using my saw again to cut the 45-degree angles, applying with wood glue, and also using my nail gun for extra security. This creates a lip that hangs down and fits snug around the base to hold the top in place. But because I used plywood that was only 1/2 inch thick, I probably could have went up to the next size thickness. It was a little bit flimsy across the middle, so I decided to use this extra piece to create sort of a stabilizer underneath. I just used wood glue and nails to attach it, and I do think it helped a little bit, but now you gotta stay tuned for part 2 to see how I build the roof.